So after the owner's role, let's look at the architect's role during the construction phase. So this is the chart for the architect's organization on the traditional construction project. And so the complexity of the architect's organization is dependent upon the size of the architectural firm and the size of the construction project. So in architect's organization, excuse me, on the construction project, the main person may be called as the principal in charge, or sometimes they use the word as chief engineer as well. So the principal in charge is an upper management level individual who is the ultimate decision maker for the firm on the project. So the individual could be the owner of the firm, the chief executive officer, the president, or one of the principals. So a business relationship exists between the principal in charge and the capital projects officer in the owner's organization. The next person is the project manager in the architect's organization. The project manager is in charge of the project from beginning to the end. The person may be working concurrently on other projects, but is still fully responsible for each one. So the project manager is the architect's primary contact within the owner's representative. So he provides direction to the architects, other employees, and to the subcontractors who are working on the project. So this person, the project manager, is responsible for the architect's team composition and its ability to fulfill its contractual obligation. So he or she will also be involved in all of the decisions concerning the changes in the construction contract and in evaluating the validity of those changes to the project. And next you can consider the project architect. So the project architect is involved primarily in the design of the project and construction documents. This person coordinates the designers, architects, engineers, draftspeople, specification writers, and sub-consultants in the process that ultimately produces the construction documents. So by being involved in this process from the project's inception, the project architect is considered the expert regarding the intent and interpretation of the contract documents for the architectural firm, but does not participate on a daily basis in the construction process. Next, we can consider the contract administrator. So the contract administrator is that person which is employed by the architectural organization, and it is a specialist in the projects that are under the construction. So the contract administration processes the shop drawings, progress payments, requests for information, change orders, and correspondence relating to the project. So this person also conducts meetings with the contractor and issues minutes of the meeting. So the contract administration may also be responsible for making certain decisions on the project, depending upon the level of involvement of the architect's project manager during the construction phase. Next, we can consider the sub-consultants. The sub-consultants provide design services and portions of the construction documents that are not provided by the architect's in-house staff. So typical sub-consultants used on a building project include civil and environmental engineers, structural engineers or engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and interior design firms. So other specialty sub-consultants such as the acoustical, kitchen, detention, and industrial engineering services also may be used depending on the specifics of the project. The specialty coordinators are inspectors and engineers hired by the sub-consultants who provide services on the job site during the construction phase. So as many of the sub-specialty areas, such as mechanical and electrical, are extremely complex and relate to the work of many trades, the specialty contractor can facilitate the work by becoming frequently involved in the project. And lastly, let's consider the role of the contractor during the construction phase. So this chart shows the contractors project organization. So we can start from the officer in charge, estimating department, scheduling department, then project manager. Under project manager, you have project engineers, superintendents, then field engineers, foremen, subcontractor, craftspeople, again foremen, second tier subcontractors, and the craftspeople again. So on large projects, there are normally many tiers of the subcontracting. So not just one or two tiers, there are many tiers of subcontracting working on the project. So officer in charge is like the owner, and the architect is responsible for the firm's performance. So this individual may be the construction company's owner, president, CEO, vice president, or district manager. So this person has a business level relationship with the owner's capital projects, officer, and the architect's principal in charge. Next, the project manager on the contractor's side is the one of the focal point on the whole project. So the contractor's project manager organizes and manages the contractor's project team. So this person's responsibility to upper management is to ensure the project's profitability. The project manager selects and maintains the appropriate team to economically and efficiently complete the project to the owner's standards as set forth in the plans and specifications, while making a profit for the construction company. The project manager is responsible for implementing time and schedule control, cost control, and quality control during the project, and conducts business with the owner's representative and architect's project manager. Next important person in the contractor's organization is the superintendent. Superintendent is responsible for the correct, timely, and profitable construction of the project. So the superintendent has the necessary skills and understanding of common construction methods and practices. This person manages a crew of craftspeople employed by the contractor and subcontractors. So it is the superintendent's responsibility to coordinate labor, material, equipment, and subcontractors during the project installation. The project engineer usually reports directly to the project manager. The person performs paperwork activities for the project manager, such as subcontract agreements, material submittals, and shop drawings, and payment requests, contract change orders, requests for information, correspondence with subcontractors and suppliers, and project documentation. Field engineer reports to either the project manager or the project engineer or the superintendent. The field engineer is involved in the layout of the work and the interpretation of the construction documents. This person should be knowledgeable about the content of the construction documents and is often responsible for documenting job site conditions and conversations. The field engineer is also responsible for issuing requests for information to the architect about the clarifications differing field conditions and erroneous information contained in the construction documents. Foremen. Okay, foremen are supervisory personnel. They usually are paid hourly and receive slightly higher pay than craftspeople. The foremen are responsible for directing the labor crew in their work activities. Foremen are hourly employees and are not considered management but rather labor. Foremen are usually knowledgeable about the installation techniques that are necessary to perform the work of the crew. So foremen create work assignments for the craft people. And then craft people. Okay, so the craft peoples are hourly employees who are trained to perform specific tasks. Each craft people or trade person or trade performs its work assignment with a high level of efficiency and quality. So craft people involve laborer, carpenter, operating engineer, iron worker, cement mason, etc. So these are the examples of craft people. Subcontractors. Subcontractors are separate business entities from the contractor. So they provide labor, material, equipment, and occasionally second-tier subcontractors to complete a specific portion of the construction. So they have agreements with and are responsible to the contractor. So all correspondence and requests for the clarifications from the subcontractor to the contractor go to the contractors, who determines which course of action to take. So the subcontractor management usually will contact the contractor's project manager or the project engineer for clarifications and contractual discussions. So similarly, the contractor will have their foreman as well. So contractor's foreman at the job site communicates with the contractor's foreman or superintendent concerning the work parameters, changes and directions. So a subcontractor will have a foreman as well. So the subcontractor's foreman is the subcontractor's site representative. Larger subcontractors will require a superintendent for the subcontractor when there are several crews and a variety of work. For instance, with a large mechanical subcontract. So the subcontractor's foreman is responsible for the quality of the work accomplished by one of the crew or crews. So subcontractor's foreman is often a working foreman in that this person also works with the tools. So the subcontractor's foreman's primary task is to facilitate a profit for the subcontractor on the particular work assigned to the for the project, and provides direction to one of one's crews to install and complete the work assigned. And lastly, subcontractors craftsperson is the directly employed craftsperson as hourly laborers on the project, and different training and classifications are assigned to craftspeople who are doing specific tasks. This is another arrangement for the contractor's project organization, in which the project manager and a superintendent are parallel to each other. Okay, so sometimes the superintendent is maybe under the project manager, but in some projects, superintendent may be in parallel to the project manager. So in this case, an operations officer supervises the superintendents. Some words about the estimating and scheduling functions as well. So during the construction phase of the project, specific estimating and scheduling functions need to be accomplished. Estimating functions during the construction phase relate primarily to the estimating changes to the contract. We will continue this lecture in the next video clip.